Hello, my name is Candace. I am a social worker. I'm a certified mental health coach. I'm a poet. I'm a healer among healers, and I'm the founder and owner of Hello Candace LLC. And I help academically thriving Black teens reduce stress, build confidence, and cultivate a positive racial identity, even if on the outside they look like they have it all figured out, and especially if they're attending predominantly white schools and institutions. So today I want to talk about something called the 6 M's. This is something that anyone can use. I use it in my own life. It's basically a grounding acronym in a sense to help me come back to self. And so the reality is when teens and young adults go through very stressful educational systems, at some point they will get disconnected from themselves, whether it's the expectations, the pressure, having to stay up late doing work, the constant going, it can be really hard to slow down. And so every day to navigate educational systems, specifically traditional ones in college, grad school, high school, we have to have reconnection practices. And that can look like so many different things. We also know I want to hold space for the fact that we also need time, we need continued advocacy, we need, of course, educators who are speaking up for change and injustice, but we also know that systems are resistant to change. I've been a social worker for about 12 years. I've worked in a lot of different environments, and change is very disruptive. We can look at our society as a whole. It feels like sometimes we make change and progress and then we take a step back, or some groups of people are changing to make things better and then some are trying to keep things the same. So that is something that is just true that we all have to accept. And there are ways that we can take care of ourselves when we live in a society that is very disconnecting, where there's a lot of trauma and there's a lot of chaos, and that chaos and trauma sometimes gets projected on us, or we project our own chaos and trauma on other people because we're not as connected to ourselves as we need to be. This is just part of what it means to live in this country. And so 6 M's can help us. The first one is a meal. And so you can use these M's when you wake up in the morning. You can use them when you're very stressed, when you're overwhelmed, when you're feeling irritated, when you've been working, and executing a project and realize I need to drop back into self-care. This is also really important before you do really heavy, especially if you have any form of neurodivergence, doing any form of work that requires you executing something and following through and doing a lot of tasks, really taking care of yourself beforehand. So the first one is a meal. We live in a society where it's very easy to just wake up and start your day and go, but the brain needs fuel. So even if you don't feel as hungry, sometimes we just need to eat a snack or remind ourselves, or just check in, have I eaten today, or what have I eaten? And just explore your relationship with food. And obviously, when you're going through a very stressful time, if there's a lot of change, if there's a lot of grief and loss, eating sometimes is challenging. That has been true for me. That's been true for so many people I've worked with. Meal can also mean preparing a meal, yes, or ordering food for yourself, or asking someone to make you a meal, but really just checking in with yourself. The second one is movement. Our body needs movement every day, even if it's 5 minutes of turning on your favorite song and dancing. I do that a lot sometimes during my breaks with work because I work from home. So I'll turn on a favorite song and I'll just dance and move my body and shake it out. Some people take exercise classes or fitness classes, or you go for a walk, or you do a YouTube video, but every day our body needs movement. And even if you just start with 5 minutes, if you're not moving your body at all, some type of movement. Mindfulness. So mindfulness is all about coming back to the present moment, asking ourselves, what is our relationship with the present moment? Anxiety is usually future focused. So even if you're thinking about what am I going to do 5 minutes from now, we're not in the present moment. And so that can be really hard in a society where there's a lot of urgency, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of focus on work more than family and connection. And so it's going against the grain to slow down and be present. And the easiest way to do that is to check in with your senses. So naming things you just see around you, like, oh, there is a plant sitting right here. There is a black book. It can be sound. So even if you have a calming playlist, just turning on and listening to your calming playlist. You can be mindfully eating. So slowing down when you eat food, taking deep breaths. any type of creative expression, so coloring mindfully. All of these things, just starting with 5 minutes a day, can really do wonders, especially if you're living a life on autopilot or you don't know how to slow down. I've had teenagers I've worked with who have said to me, I want to slow down, but I don't know how. I'm afraid, right, I'm not going to get into college, or like I'm going to miss out on something. And that those beliefs get ingrained very young through so many different people and places. And I believe that in my life at one point, and slowing down is still hard, but I work really hard at it because I'm a much healthier human being. I contribute in healthier ways to the communities I'm in when I'm moving slower. So it's really important. The other one is a meaningful connection. I believe that's meaningful connection with ourselves, meaningful connection with other human beings, meaningful connection with something beyond ourselves, meaningful connection with nature, meaningful connection with pets. But we do need connection as human beings, and we know we live in a society that makes connection really hard. There's a lot of things that get in the way of that. I like to try to plan times to be in community and to make an intention to talk to one or two people and to be curious about someone. I work with a lot of teens. I've also worked with adults with social anxiety. I've dealt with my own social anxiety, and a lot of times social anxiety is outward focused. What do people think about me, or what's going to happen? And it comes from real experiences and real places. And so one way to kind of navigate that, I like to ask teens in particular, what is a characteristic you love about yourself that you want to lead with when you're in a social setting? And it could be my kindness, or it could be my curiosity, or it could be that I'm playful. And so lead with that, and then see who's drawn in and who wants to connect around your kindness or your curiosity. And it's okay if like it just stays in the community. Like you're like, okay, I went to this event and I gave someone a compliment and I can be proud of myself. But those small things to help build connections important. And there's lots of research, if you just Google, that talks about as human beings, right? We need connection. We live in a society that breeds so much loneliness and isolation, and we all feel it in different ways. And it can be hard to reach out. It could be hard to like push ourselves to go out and meet people. But it's really important. The other one is meditation. I think we're on 5. So the 5th one is meditation. Meditation is similar to mindfulness, but it is dropping from, I like to think of it, doing to being. So again, it's about slowing down, but really noticing what's happening inside of our bodies, what's happening around us. You can kind of create your own focal point. You can focus on your breath. You can focus on sensations in your body. But slowing down and getting still requires you to feel. So the reason why sometimes it's so hard to slow down is because feelings come up. We're thinking and feeling all day. And I know when I used to live on autopilot, I was avoiding feelings. I didn't know I was avoiding feelings. But when you get still and you really drop into more pauses, you have to feel things. And feelings are great. They're great. They're uncomfortable. They're unpleasant at times. But there's also so much wisdom in our feelings and our emotions. And it makes us more human when we are in relationship with our emotional self. And the thing about meditations is you can do guided ones. I have some on my YouTube channel. I'm now an Insight Timer. I work for Headspace. Headspace has great meditations. And so getting guided meditations can be really helpful when slowing down feels really hard. The other one is money. So we cannot pretend that we don't live in a society that does not have real financial pressures and economic pressures. And I work with young people who they feel when their parents are doing well financially, they feel that. When their parents are struggling financially, they feel that. And so it impacts our sleep. There's so much connection between our financial wellness and mental health. And so if there's something you can do every day for your money, that's helpful, whether that is looking at your bank account and just knowing what's there, whether that's applying for jobs. There's been lots of layoffs, whether you're just reading a book about something related to money, whether you're looking for free resources in your community to help to find new ways to earn. We know that money causes a lot of stress for young people, as well as for adults, as well as for older adults. And it's just worth acknowledging something with your money every day. Even I think also if it's giving thanks for what you do have in your bank account, whether that's $5, whether that's $50, whether that's $5,000, and just giving thanks for what you do have. When I started doing that really helped me when I was going through really difficult financial transitions in my life, to just acknowledge what I do have today, and continue to take steps to do what I can to increase my earning or to put myself in healthier financial situations. So I hope that was helpful for you. Again, the 6 M's: meal, movement, mindfulness, meaningful connection, meditation, money. You can just start with one and say, this week I'm just going to practice paying attention to being mindful. This week I'm just going to practice paying attention to the meals I eat. This week I'm just going to practice paying attention to my money. This week, I'm just going to practice paying attention to meditation. You can also come up with your own. You don't have to use the 5 or the 6 M's, but there are things we need every day to reconnect us to ourselves and to ground us. And so this is just a start. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. But if you do know an academically thriving Black teen or young adult who needs more support, please visit my website, hellocandice.com. I'd love to support.